Hello, welcome to Jan's Views. How the hell are you? It's Sunday evening. I've just watched Strictly Come Dancing and I suddenly remembered yesterday I'd said on my social media that I might do a live stream about the Harry and Meghan series on, what's it called? Oh, forgotten. I've got to wake up, guys. Do you know what? It's snowing. It's snowing. It's snowing. I don't know why I'm excited about it because it means that I'm going to be petrified to go outside my front door. But anyway, I thought tonight a good subject would be to talk about the Meghan and Harry Netflix series and to give my impression of it. And if anybody wants to come along, join in the discussion, great. That would be nice. I'm happy to put a link down below. And if you want to come and chat to me about it, yay, let's do that. Obviously, I've got a lot to say about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come on here now, would I? I mean, yeah, that stands to reason. Yeah, I've got a lot to say about it. And also, I've got a lot to say about some of the things I've been seeing on social media about it. And quite honestly, I don't want to spend my whole time saying, oh my God, is it? I cannot believe that they've said that, or why are they coming at it from that angle? There is an awful lot to discuss. So I just want to chill. I want to just sit here, do my own thing. I thought the best thing to do would be to go through my Twitter feed because there's an awful lot on there about it, and I thought I could, perhaps talk about that as well. So, before we go any further, I suppose I better say who I am. This is me, guys. Hello there, and welcome to Jan's Views. Despite being on YouTube for a few years now, I don't think I've ever done an introductory video about me, about Jan's Reviews, who now is Jan's Views. So I thought, it might be quite a good idea just to let you guys know what gets me ticking that. No, it's not ticking over, is it? Anyway, so this is me, guys. Okay, and now we're back in the room. Now we're actually looking at my Twitter feed. Aren't you lucky? Um, because I thought this would be a good way. This will sort of keep me on track, as far as discussing my thoughts on this whole situation. Um, I hope you're all doing well. Good evening and good vibes to you as well. Anxiety and depression crew. Yeah. Yay. We've got to get through it though, haven't we? That's the point. And we will. Okay. We will. Take it from me. We will get through it. So, I suppose normally I start my live streams by telling you what I've been doing. What have I been doing? I had my tattoo. If you want to see it, I actually did put up a short video on YouTube showing it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Just look at my shorts and it's there. I compiled a little clip and I just love it. It's on my lower forearm, and yeah, those of you that have had tattoos will know that you have to protect it for about 4 or 5 days with like a bit like a cling film thingy. They use a slightly different thing since the last time I had a tattoo. I think the last time I had a tattoo must have been about, oh, I don't know, 3, 4 years ago. And they're now using something a little different. But so I've still got that on, which is great fun when having a bath. It has to be said because you can't get it wet. So yeah, so I've got that on. What else have I done? I don't know. I was still doing a lot of work on my website. And other than that, I've been sort of just milling around, so to speak, which is what we do. So let's get straight in to this, which is uh, what I really wanted to talk about. I've not structured this live stream very well. Normally, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm saying, and I know which part I'm going to. Not today, guys. I'm all over the place. Never mind. Oh my god! And I can't believe what we got 10 few days till Christmas. Am I ready? No. Um, not in the least bit. Stuff you leave on for a week, then it's magically healed underneath. Yes, yes. They used to just wrap it up in like cling film, but this is a little bit more tech than that. Um, yeah, and it's sort of, it's honestly, it just looks like you can't really see it from a distance. The tattoo's healing really well. In fact, you know, I haven't really got any colour in this one. My other ones, oh, I'll have to turn that off. That's me notifications for my family on the old WhatsApp. So I'll turn that sound off because otherwise that'll be going off all the time. Yeah, I've forgotten what I was saying. Yeah, it's healed really well, and I think it's probably because I've not really got any colour in it. I've just got white. I've got white sort of bits touching it up. That's not the right word at all. But yeah, I've only got a little bit of white in there. Okay. Hi, Rye. Um, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, darling. I really am. There's an awful lot of everything going around at the moment. My daughter's just told me my granddaughter's not feeling very well at the moment. So I think all we can do is sort of stay in, keep warm, don't go out when it's really freezing, unless you really have to, and drink plenty of fluids, I think, isn't it? But I hope she gets better, you know, quickly, and I'm sorry that you're upset and worried. That's not a good position to be in. So, let's just move on with what I was doing, and hopefully it'll just take, you know, this live stream will just take your mind off it a little bit, right? I hope so anyway. So we're going to move to, as I said, my Twitter. I've gone into the hashtag, which is Meghan and Harry Netflix, because I want to show you some of the things that people are saying, and also I want to sort of give my opinion on it. Now, it's my opinion, nothing else, but it's something that you know, I do feel strongly about, and I'm just sick and tired of hearing all the negativity on there, and the untruths. It's a bit like, well, it's like anything really, you know, particularly to do with social media. People put out these stories and other people just jump on the hate train. It's just something that happens in, you know, in this social media based world in which we live. So the first one I've come across, um Okay. The first I'm not gonna read all of them. I've got it on latest, and the first one I've read, it says, "Appalling also this morning that Laura Kuenssberg mentioned Meghan and Harry Netflix just so her panel could dismiss it and say that we are lucky to have such a wonderful monarch as Charles. Obvious propaganda for racist royal family. Listen, I've lived here all my life. I was born here. Um, I was born of, like a chocolate Easter egg, um, made of galaxy, milk chocolate. And I have spent my life in Britain, living in a white environment because my mother couldn't pass me off as her husband's child. So I was put straight into care, and that's where I stayed. Um, so I think I can talk about Britain's racism, Britain's systematic racism, which of course it comes from somewhere, and one of the places it comes from is the monarchy. Uh, it's something that it's not hard to understand, especially when you look at the British history. If you look at the British history, you will know about the British Empire, which is something that, as a Brit, I am very ashamed of. Even though I had nothing to do with it, and quite honestly, I do think to myself, well, if it wasn't for the British Empire, perhaps my father would not have come over from Jamaica, um, and I wouldn't have been born. Imagine that. So, yeah, I'd always sort of, I have mixed emotions when speaking about the British Empire, mainly negative, I have to say, because I think they were barbaric, and they stole from indigenous people and completely changed the countries that they conquered. And yeah, I don't believe in war. I don't like war. I think everybody should just get on with being who they are. I don't care what color you are, what creed you are, what religion you are, what sexuality you are. We're all people, and we all have a life to lead, and it's not an easy life. And why make it hard? Why make it harder for other people by being discriminatory? Because it's it's what makes what makes one person believe that they are any better than another person just because they are from a different religion, or they are, a different color. So yeah, we can go on and on and on and on, and I just talk myself to bits. And if I can do that, talk myself to bits. But yeah, so that's where I'm coming from. Oh man, some racist people on that site. I block so many every day. Just followed you, by the way. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you've just followed me. I tend to try and post positivity on there because I think that there's an awful lot of negativity out there, and I don't want my page, or my Insta, or my YouTube to be negative, because there's enough of that around. But I'm the kind of person that I do feel strongly about certain issues, and if you look back at some of my old videos, you will see that I do speak out about certain issues, such as Black Lives Matter and other things, bullying, and other things that I feel that need to be discussed. And I do feel that this situation, where I believe Meghan to be discriminated against purely on the color of her skin, needs to be spoken about. And if other people don't feel that, then that's down to them. But, I'm not gonna listen to you because unless you've lived that, then you don't know what it's like. It's you can only surmise, can't you? Um, you can only guess. Um, and I think this is far too important to just guess and to be led by the um the racist tabloid papers over here. Not only are they racist, they're liars, they're fakers, they're bullies. And I mean, I've never really gone into any depth about how I felt about Diana when she went, because I never like to be swayed by people that I have no faith in, and I don't have any faith in other people telling me what's going on there. It's like on my Twitter. I see people, they come up and they say, "Oh, Meghan this and Meghan that, and Meghan did this and Meghan did that." So I thought, you know what? I'm going to watch this and I'm going to make up my own mind. No, that's the way I am. I make up my own mind. I'm not going to be swung by somebody who obviously has different views, um, and will therefore come to different conclusions. I look at it through my own eyes, hence my name, Jan's Views. So on here, let's see what they're saying. Dark thoughts. When William tries to reduce the embarrassment for his spineless brother Harry, but Meghan will not be hidden from the spotlight. She always finds the camera because hashtag Meghan Markle is a narcissist. Where have they got that from? Where have they got that? How do they know what she is? How do they know her? They don't know her. They've never met her. This person, how many oh, okay, so he's got 12 followers. Uh he Let me see what he talks about. Okay, so he's fairly invested in Meghan and Harry. Um and it's always in a negative way. Like here, even my narcissist ex knew how to pretend to be a gentleman. So this guy's obviously a hater. So why am I going to listen to anything that he says? I'm not. And we all choose to believe what we want to believe. And I'm quite strong-willed. Strong-willed. The racism is in every level of everything everywhere in this country. Xenophobia too. The very idea of deporting people appalls me. I agree 100%. But have you noticed how that's been swept under the carpet? When that was first brought up and they said, "Oh, we're thinking of sending the new refugees over to," where was it? Was it Uganda? I can't remember. Zambia? Gambia? Oh, I don't know. That's now been brushed under the carpet. But we don't know what's been happening, do we? Have they been doing that? Have they been sending all these desperate people that have fled their country because things were unbearable, because they feared for their life? Rwanda, that's it, yeah. Have they been sending those people over to that country? I mean, why Rwanda? Why? It's like this is like the British Empire all over again. And yeah, I don't like it. Do not like it. So what else? Yes, we hate the British tabloids, but why try and paint a one-sided picture? Oh, okay. Let's see. Where is it? Yes, we hate who is this person? 35, followed by British Airways. Interesting. So let's look at this picture that he's uploaded. Okay, so it's obviously it's mainly the Enquirer. Harry and Meghan, it's over. TV lies exposed. Meghan walks out and takes Archie. Humiliated Meghan cancelled by Hollywood. Meghan's secret psych analysis. Queen disowns Harry and Meghan. I mean, why and how are they allowed to get away with this? And then when they do decide to use their voice, it makes no difference. They still get slated. Why? Why are they being slated in that way? Was Kate slated when she married Prince William? No. I wonder why. I wonder why. As I said at the beginning, as somebody who's lived in this country all my life and has faced the racism that you can get, the systematic racism that's over here, I know what Meghan went through. Which has a serious population issue. Where Rwanda? I know, I can't get my head around that. Maybe I need to talk about that another time because I really want to concentrate on this. What I find quite interesting is that, let me get out of there for 1 second. I went into this YouTube video today, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it now, but I found this channel that he had a lot of followers and basically spent like 10 minutes slagging off this video, slagging off, let's see if I can say which one it was, slagging off the series, yeah. He was picking specifically on the bit where Meghan and Harry was sat on the sofa and she was explaining about not knowing how to curtsy. This guy spent, I think it was 15 minutes dissecting the video, putting his twisted slant to it. I wrote him such a piece of my mind. I don't think he got back to me. So I'm going to see if I can find, let me see if I can find it. I'm having a look. Can't remember what his name was now. Okay, if you put Meghan in YouTube, you just get all the news agencies come up, which is quite interesting. Let me see. Let me see if I can find this guy. How did I find it under? Harry and Meghan, Netflix. I just wanted to read what I'd said to this guy because I was disgusted in what he said. He's a body, oh God, what do they call it? What do they call it? I watch them all the time when they do body language. Let me see. He was like a body language expert. Body language guy. Oh, here he is. Here he is. Let me show you. This is it. Right now. Okay, he did one. Oh, this is the one. Look, you can see the red line. I watched it. I was so disgusted. So look down at how many he's done on this one about Meghan and Harry. Okay. ugh, I think he's horrible, this guy. 6 months ago he started, and the first one, and he put nasty behaviour of Harry and Meghan at Jubilee service. Oh, who's he to say what their behaviour was like? That got 1.1 million views. Then he did a month ago, how Meghan and Harry's separation rumours make sense. He's so clever, isn't he? Oh, he's such a clever dude. 2 weeks ago, how Meghan's behaviour with children exposed her true nature. Next one, guess how Meghan really feels about her wedding dress. Then this one, Harkle's, oh, he calls her Harkle's now. Photo fiasco sends Netflix into emergency. This guy's called the body language guy. 4 months ago, Harry's speech. Oh, sorry. Harry's UN speech exposes troubles with Meghan. Why Harry and Meghan's latest pic looks so cringe. It doesn't look cringe to me. That looks cringe. He looks cringe. They don't look cringe. And the one thing, I've just got so much to say about things. 6 disturb. Anyway, that's this guy. Okay, so I clicked on his video last night. That's not what they said. That's not what it means. They were explaining what the Commonwealth meant. For people that didn't understand it, they didn't say anything about the Queen's long reign meaning nothing. So right from the get-go, within 26 seconds, I could tell that this guy was going to be talking a whole load of crap. He sat there with his shirt and his tie and his suit top, acting as if he knows what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Not in the slightest. And just from, as I said, 26 seconds, and he's already come out with something that is so damaging to Meghan and Harry. So let's move on. Hello, Zoo Flute. How are you? Oh, we've got snow. We've got snow, Zoo Flute, and it's still snowing. So I'm staying in. I'm not going anywhere. So the title to his video he chose was Harry's Covert Anger When Meghan Mocked the Queen. Okay. Let's move on a bit more, shall we? Okay, so out of the whole 3 hours worth of that Netflix series, the one bit that he says it's so important to discuss is a little snippet where Meghan and Harry, they're sat on the sofa and just very relaxed, the way they are through most of the episodes, and Meghan is explaining how she felt about having to bow in front of the Queen because she didn't realize that she would have to do it. like, not on camera, if you see what I mean. She didn't realise that inside the royal family, even though you are in, the building and there are no outside people watching, you still have to go along with the protocol. And she found this really incredible, which I would. Who wouldn't? So she was explaining what happened, in a relaxed, jovial kind of way. And Harry, who you can tell is absolutely besotted with her, was sat there listening while she was explaining that she really didn't know how to do it. And she spoke to a couple of other people who said, a couple of other royals who said, yeah, you do have to still curtsy. So she said when she did curtsy, she did it in such a way that, she feels she went over the top. Um, and that was the point of her doing that on the sofa there. It was showing that she believed her bow, her curtsy was too over the top. She wasn't being disrespectful to the Queen. She wasn't being disrespectful to her husband. She was explaining how she felt on the day and what she did. But there are people out there now who are running with the narrative that she was just insulting the Queen. No, she wasn't. Let me look down here. Meghan she was very naive. I think she was very naive. But then she wasn't brought up in the royal circles. So I can understand that. I can fully understand that. So let's go on a bit more with Mr. Angry here. Well, that's not really what was happening, though. What was happening was she was explaining, she wasn't making fun of that. If anything, she was making fun of herself because she felt that she'd gone way over the top. So to twist it that she was making fun of the royal family is very wrong, extremely wrong, in my opinion. Right, so this other bit, he's talking about, hang on a minute, let's go back. I don't see anything wrong in that. I don't, oh, you can't hear him. You can't hear him. Okay, I won't play any more of him then if you can't hear him. Um, right. Hang on a minute. True, I'd hope someone marrying into the family would read up a bit more. I don't understand that. At the end of the day, Harry didn't come to her like a prince on a white horse. He came to her as a very grounded English guy who happens to be a royal. He didn't push the fact that he was a royal down her throat. And they continued to have a very relaxed relationship. And I don't see how she would then have to feel that she has to read everything about his family. No, I don't believe that at all. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the the series, but in the series, it's very obvious that, Harry isn't like the other stuffed shirts that are in the royal family. And that's why, or that's one of the reasons she fell for him. I mean, they saw each other for months under the radar and went on dates that we could only imagine going on. No, that he didn't fly her to Paris to the top restaurants or anything like that. They used to go on trips to Africa, um, for to help with charities over there and things like that. So he's a very grounded kind of guy, and I don't see anything wrong in if they've invited his brother and his wife. Why would she have to dress up? I don't see that. I probably would, but then I'm not American. I mean, I probably would dress up a bit and slap on a bit of makeup, but at the end of the day, there seems to be a disconnect with what these people are in real life to who they are in royal life. And I think there are some royals that never break away from that. And I think William and Kate are probably like that, but I don't think Harry and Meghan are like that. And I think, well, good for them. At the end of the day, they didn't choose to be royal. Let me see. Let me just answer you there. If I was marrying a guy who had a family who has a huge business, I would prepare myself. Yeah, yeah, I probably would as well. But then you'd probably know about it. He'd tell you about it anyway, wouldn't he? I'm not against Meghan and Harry. I'm just surprised at her approach. I don't see anything wrong in her approach. To be honest, I just think she'd done quite well for herself before meeting Harry, and as I said, Harry's not a stuffed shirt, and they fell in love as a young couple who, although obviously he's a royal, he's never going to be king anyway. Um, but I just feel I don't see why people would berate her for being unprepared. I don't see why that would happen. At the end of the day, it's got to be you learn on the job type of thing, hasn't it? That's how I would assume it to be. And one thing I didn't like about this guy is that he just picked and picked and picked at the whole curtsying story, and I didn't like it. I just thought, yeah, you're just a piece of garbage, to be honest. This is what I wrote to him. Um, I don't know how you came up as I flicked through YouTube to find something to watch, but sadly you did. I cannot lie and say I watched the whole of your video. I watched all I needed to. In commas, I correctly guessed your intentions within the first few minutes of viewing. I regularly watch body language content, so was initially interested in your take on this on the Netflix series. To say I am disappointed in your judgments is an understatement. Throughout this enlightening series about systematic racism within our royal family, I find it very telling that you would pick this particular scene to dissect a situation that you clearly have no knowledge or empathy with. I find it extremely hurtful and disingenuous to this couple and would suggest you concentrate on giving an unbiased opinion on a subject you may have genuine insight and knowledge about instead of jumping aboard the Meghan Harry hate train. He didn't respond, um, which is no surprise. But no, I shan't be watching him again. As you can see, he's talking about this and picking up. Hang on, let's see here. Look how he's dissecting it. No, Harry probably knew what she was talking about, but he's not gonna shut her up. She was explaining why she did that massive curtsy and how she felt, kind of embarrassed about doing it. And he what do you expect him to do? I mean, he may have looked a little bit uncomfortable about it, the same as if you're with your husband and you're out and you're gonna tell an embarrassing story about something, the same as, your husband would be embarrassed about that. You don't have to read something into it. And this is what really annoys me, especially somebody who thinks they're a body language expert. Of course he was a little bit embarrassed, but no more embarrassed than if Meghan had told a story of like the first time they met, and maybe he reached for her hand and he did this and that. That's it. You don't have to make such a massive deal about every single thing. Let me just read what you've said here. They could have been more forgiving for sure. Thank you, darling. Yeah, you told him. Yeah, I did. That's what I thought. I hate that. I hate that in all areas of social media. Don't just jump on a bandwagon. Have your own thoughts. Maybe your thoughts are going to be controversial, like some of my thoughts may be, but have the guts to speak about or to give your opinion on things and then back them up, which is the same thing I do. If I've got a strong opinion about something, I'll say it and I'll back it up with facts as much as I possibly can. He was chasing clout. Yeah, I would say so. Of course. Look at his title, Covert Anger. What's covert anger? So he's trying to insinuate that Harry was angry at Meghan, that she mocked the Queen. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. Let's see. Look at this. Oh my god. How has this guy got 563K followers? I don't like him. I think he's disgusting. That's what I think. Um, so and then he went on and just kept going over and studying, as you can see. He's studying Harry's face. Listen, if you're gonna do something, in my opinion, if you're gonna talk about somebody, don't put your own spin onto it. I think what these people are doing is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I'm almost speechless and I shouldn't be because I'm on live stream. So what I'm gonna do is go back to my Twitter and see what else has been said on there and just quickly. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for everybody what I've seen about the series in case you haven't seen it. But for me, it tells the story of how they met in their own words. So, what better way to tell a story than in your own words? and with footage that was obviously just taken by a mobile phone, they took of each other. They showed screenshots of their texts that they used to text to each other. It's a love story. And by the time you get to like episode 2 is when the subject of racism comes up, because that's when it became quite obvious in their story that it was a prominent reason for a lot of the negativity they were receiving, both from the press and also from the royal family. And the interesting thing is that um, is always played down is that the great British public actually liked Meghan. I say liked in a past tense because I don't know how they feel about her now, but there is a section of the British public that adore Meghan, and I'm one of these people. And the reason I adore Meghan is because she's mixed race, and because I know of what she's been through. I can just imagine what she's been through as a mixed race person, trying to be um who is looked at as infiltrating such a white upper class powerful British family. Can you imagine that? You speak to any black person on the streets in Britain. I don't know about America. I don't know anything about America. But you speak to any British person on the street about how they feel about Meghan coming into the royal family, and most of them will be like, "Oh, yes." I did a video. I did a singing and dancing video because I was so excited. I was so excited when I heard that Harry was going to marry Meghan. And the one of the main thoughts that came to my mind, the main vision in my head, was of a royal family with a black face in it, in the portrait. And that meant an awful lot to me. And I think it meant an awful lot to a lot of other black people. And on my Twitter, I did show um a section of a clip of some school kids that were being interviewed, and they were black school kids, and they were saying that, you know, they're really pleased that she was coming in, you know, she was going to be marrying Harry for that reason alone. You know, you if people were coming for her because, you know, she'd been married before and because of something else not to do with her family, that's a different matter, you know. And some people, I've had some people say, oh, well, she's no better than Diana. You know, Diana was, you know, she was an outsider as well. And I'm like, what? So, apart, you know, there are so many sections of society that is so hate driven that they just come up with the most ludicrous answers and the most ridiculous arguments, and I just can't even be bothered. I can't. I mean, if somebody comes on my Twitter and wants to argue me about it, then I'll probably just block them, quite honestly, because I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to argue with bigots. I just can't. Let's see what you're comparing her to Yoko Ono. Now, the Yoko hate is another racist trope too. Of course it is. Of course it is. Because she wasn't British. How dare John Lennon marry somebody who wasn't British? This is what is meant by systematic racism. You know, this is what it is. If you don't look at the only comparison with these two is that they are both brown skinned. That's the only comparison. and they were both with white men. So what does that tell you? You know, I won't be swayed on how I feel about Meghan and Harry. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm old enough to have known when Harry grew up and did ridiculous things when he was out with his buddies. But then we have to remember he was a young royal and he was very different to William as well. He was a feisty young royal. But then we can't forget that he did 10 years service. He went to war twice, guys. How many times did William go to war? How many times did Charles go to war? And this guy who went to war for his country, for his queen and country, is now slapped down because he fell in love with a mixed race girl. I think it is disgusting, and I think it is synonymous with the British society. I really do. And you know, if anyone comes at me saying, "Oh well, you know, she did this and she did that and she did that. Oh, and she's making him do this and she's making it." No, she's not. He's got his own mind. Thank goodness he's got his own mind. And he's proud of his mixed race kids. And that is, you know, one of my daughters phoned me and she said, "Mom," she said, "I cried in the second one because he was talking about how proud he was about his mixed race kids." And that, um, you know, and they were talking about her mum and her dad, and it was very emotional. Now, unless you've lived it yourself, you don't understand. You just can't understand it. Harry gets picked on for being ginger. You can argue that's a bit racist too. Do you know, I can't argue with that. Yes, it is. You know, people, if you're in any way different, you're liable to be picked on. And it's so sad. And it starts at such a young age. You know, it's like I went into London the other week with my daughter, my granddaughter, and one of my granddaughter's friends who has the most amazing mane of red hair. She's a typical redhead, very pale skinned, with this shock of red hair. Beautiful, beautiful hair. And my daughter and my granddaughter had booked to have a facial, so I was left with my granddaughter's friend. So we went and had a drink, and I sat there, and I looked at her, and I thought, "Do you know, you look so beautiful." And I'm one of these people that if I think something, I'll say it. So I said to her, I said, "Do you know," I said, "you look really, really pretty today." And I tell you, how old is my granddaughter? She's 12. So she's the same age as my granddaughter. And I said, "I love what you're wearing." I said, "You look really gorgeous." She said, "Oh, thank you." She said, and I love complimenting people, especially kids, because we forget kids, you know, some people forget that kids have feelings and kids need to be told good things about themselves as well, as being told off for doing bad things. They should also be told, you know, just out of the blue, "You look gorgeous." So I said to her, I said, "I love that little dress you're wearing." She said, "Oh yeah, I have to be careful because of my hair. I can't wear certain colours." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Oh, I hadn't really thought of that." And we had this lovely conversation, and I could see her cheeks went all rosy because I was telling her that I thought she looked very, very pretty and that she should be proud of, you know, having the sense of clothing she had. And um, because she looked really stylish. So, getting back to Harry being a ginger, yeah, you're absolutely right. He will be, and probably has always been picked on because he's a ginger. And that's a shame as well. But what I really loved, without going through all the nasty bits now, I've been talking for nearly an hour about it. Um, I want to talk about some of the really lovely things that I enjoyed in there. I enjoyed seeing their friendship blossom into a relationship. Um, you could tell, I mean, there were pictures where he sent like her a selfie in the middle of the night while he's lying in bed and sort of talking to her. You can imagine they were having like a voice chat. Um, and that was lovely. And there were so many glimpses into their relationship, honest glimpses that I thought were just charming, were just lovely. So, and then we went on to like times where it wasn't so good for them and how they were dreading, going public with the relationship. But the over lining thread that went through the series so far is that they both support each other, and that is the best thing. It was the best thing to see. She looked out for him. He's not as big and brave as you may think he is, but they both adore each other, and everything that they've said, I believe 100%. Why would they lie? She even she dispelled the myths that the British press have been um, exposing, in inverted commas. She dispelled them all. She showed the text messages from her father. She explained what happened there. But these people, like that guy that I was just looking at on YouTube, he wasn't interested in that. He wasn't interested in the fact that they went to Botswana together to do some charity work with the kids. He's not interested in that. He's not interested in seeing how their little boy was reacting while they were going out for walks. No, they're not interested in that. They just want to sit and pick holes in this couple. And I'm not surprised they moved out of England. I would too. I would move out of Britain. And I actually feel sorry for Harry. I tell you something, I bet he misses his mother so much since he's met Meghan as well. Because, as he said, she would have been on his side. She would have been on his side. One, she would have understood what Meghan was going through, not because of the colour issue, but because of being an outsider coming into the royal family. And two, she would have seen the happiness in her son's eyes, a happiness that he's probably never shown before. So, yeah, I do believe that Harry misses his mother desperately. And I think he's found somebody who reminds him of his mother through her kindness and her openness. And, you know, he doesn't want the same fate for Meghan. So I think, they'd do best, set their life up in California, live your life out there. He was never going to be king anyway. So I think he needs to stay over there, bring up his family over there, and just enjoy being married to who, to me, seems a very special, caring, mixed race girl who's gone through her own traumas. We get to see her mum, who I thought was lovely. Typical Jamaican woman. Looked lovely. pretty. I mean, and like when she was saying they tried to make out that Meghan had come back from, had come from like the ghettos somewhere in America. How dare they? How dare they say that? Just because her mother was black, or is black rather. Why? It's so mean. It's so nasty. And I won't talk to people that say that because it is so racist. It's so stereotypical. I think her mother came from Jamaica. I'm not 100% sure, but I think she originates from the West Indies, which in turn means that she more than likely is related. Her ancestry is in Africa, which is for most of the people on the islands. And then, they leave Jamaica, they come over here, or they leave the islands and they come over here, they go to America. And that's why a vast majority of my relatives are in America because they came from the islands. And it's the same with Meghan. And, Meghan has to learn to find herself in a world that will never accept her purely because she has a black mother. And I think that's what upset my daughter. I really do, because it's something, especially over here, it's something that's ingrained in society. And, I'm devastated that what happened to Meghan in the royal family. But I have to say, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. Let me see what you put there. Meghan's mum was born in Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah. But if you look back at her family tree, at one point, I would say either they probably came from the islands, um, and then went to America. Before the islands, they could have originated from America. Right, I'll say that right. Um, right, they would have originated from Africa. Mine originated from, I think, West Africa, which is like Ghana, Nigeria. Um, but my most recent, which is in the last 200 years, they are in the West Indies. That's how it works. So that's why, people don't understand when you say, "Oh, are you Black American?" They may say, "Well, no, because my father came from, my father comes from um, America, Ohio." Yeah, but if you look back over your ancestry and you'll see where they come from. Um, oh, they're from Ohio as well. Okay. Um, well, maybe she's, I would be very, very surprised if they didn't originate in Africa or originate in one of the islands. Because there's very few. Where did most of the black people come from that are in America? Most of them came from the islands or from Africa. It's a fact of life. Thanks to the British Empire, a lot of them found their way over to Britain because of the empire. And it wasn't just the Brits that used them as slaves, it was also the French, the Germans, the Americans, and in certain instances also the Africans did as well, for money. But that's a whole different subject that I'd rather sort of study up on again before I, you know, talk in any depth about it. But yeah, I do know a bit about it because I've actually been doing my ancestry. So I do understand a lot of where they've come from. And it's a very sad story. Oh, the Dutch. Yeah, so they okay. Yeah, the Dutch as well. So there was France, there was Spain. Do you know Spain took over Jamaica first? And they didn't do a very good job of it. And then um the Brits came over and sort of finished the job, killed everybody off in Jamaica, all the, you know, the locals, and the only Jamaicans that survived were the Jamaicans that lived in the mountains. Uh, but the rest of them, and that's why the rest of Jamaicans were diluted. And that's why there's so many different shades of Jamaicans and Africans, and yeah, it's a whole thing. I mean, I don't mind talking about it one day. I think it's fascinating. I've learned an awful lot since I've been doing this ancestry um discovery. I have to say it's my daughter that's doing it. She has she has delved so deep, it's driven her nuts. But I have learned an awful lot about it. And let me see what you put there. Ministry of African Propaganda podcast on here is really informative on African history. He's on Twitter too. Oh, is that what he's called? That's interesting. Are you British? Something. What can I call you? Innocuous? Are you British? Yeah, I think it's like with the, you know, BLM. Yeah, it's got a bit of a bad rap in certain situations, quite rightly so, because the people that were running it apparently fraudulently financially, you know, gained financially. I don't agree with that at all. I do hashtag Black Lives Matter because I think they do matter. They matter a great deal, and we need to speak up, you know, and that's why I will speak up for Meghan. And if a white person um says, "Oh yeah, but she's this and she's that and she's the other and da 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 da," I will say to them, unless you're mixed race, how can you possibly understand what sort of life she's had? It's like when she was explaining at the beginning, she was explaining about she used to get quite a few acting jobs, and then when it came out that she was mixed race, she stopped getting them. You know, it happens. It happens, guys. Oh, you're British Asian. Oh, hi. Oh, thank you for coming, and I love your picture of Simon the cat. I love Simon the cat. People always ask me where I am really from. Yes, you know, my son, I've got 4 children, they're all different colours. They've all got the same dad, apart from the youngest one. Um, but weirdly, my youngest son and my second daughter look like twins. So that's weird because they've got different fathers. But anyway, the 3 that have got different fathers, they're all that have got the same fathers, are all different shades. One's blonde, blue eyes, one looks Italian, Spanish, the other one looks he's more like me. So when he's a singer, professional musician. So he meets a lot of people, and so many times people have asked him where he's from because he's got a different look about him. Um, one of my BFFs is Pakistani, and she said to me on a few occasions that my oldest boy looks like he could come from the Middle East or, you know, somewhere that way. Um, but now that he knows that the place where he originates from is Jamaica, at least he can now turn around and say, well, actually, my family, I mean, we are a very big mishmash of nationalities. I mean, even in my DNA, I've got some Indian in it. I've got some South Indian. Um, and I've got some Nigerian, I've got some other West African, I've got British, Irish, German, and everything thrown into the pot. So, yeah. So, and people, it was really weird because I still remember growing up, people saying to me, "So where are you from? Where's your family from?" And I didn't know. I didn't have a clue. So I'd say, "Well, I don't know. Obviously somewhere brown, somewhere very hot, because I've got a constant tan." So, yeah, I've never sort of wanted it to be an issue. I don't have a chip on my shoulder, and my kids don't have chips on their shoulder, but that doesn't mean that we don't stand up for what's right and what's wrong. And what I see in this Meghan and Harry Netflix series is is truth. That's what I see. And I'm happy to go along with it. And, if people want to dismiss, their own words, then, it it just shows their ignorance really, doesn't it? It just yeah. Okay, so you know her, do you? You know her. It's like with Diana, what she must have gone through. And they hid the fact that he was carrying on. He was carrying on throughout his marriage from the very beginning. But we're talking about Charles here. Yeah, Samuel Brown. I don't know. Yeah, you have to get used to me. I always come out with the wrong things. But yeah, I think I'll probably stop there talking about it until I've watched a bit more. Um, let me see if there's anything else. When I've watched, they met on Instagram. Yes, they did. They actually met on Instagram, and Harry slid into her DMs. Yeah. So I think I'll do another one of these when I've watched a bit more. Um, right. Okay, this bit here. What are we making of Meghan after the documentary? Love her, loathe her, undecided. That was 2 hours ago. I'm going to put love her. Let's see. Okay. I put love her. 33.3% have said love her. 53.3% have said loathe her. 13.3% undecided. That just shows you how easily people are led. These people don't know her. So why would they hate her? Why would you hate someone you've never met? Because they read all the fodder. They read all the hatred online and in the newspapers. So, it's sad. So anyway, I am going to now I've got to stop this. Hang on. Oh, okay. Right, okay. Here, Fredo Cat has said, couldn't Meghan Markle just not identify as black? Then her problems would disappear. Or would it be white privilege? I'm so confused. Maybe she could identify as a man. Harry could too. I mean, okay, I'm going to finish on this one because I think this is what I'm trying to say. Watched Harry and Meghan Netflix. What TF? All these experts watched. It damn sure isn't the same. I saw Best Friends in Love finally telling their truth, with vultures and haters spewing vitriol to boost their own agendas and get a bag with fucks to whose expense? Gross. Exactly. Stephanie Guidry. That's exactly it. And that's what I'm going to finish on. So I'm going to try and, oh, look, there's King, who? Who's that? Who's that? Oh my God. Anyway, so I might be back. I might be back in the next few days to go over it a bit more in depth, whichever bits I want to talk about, because I haven't talked about anything that I really wanted to say. Well, I have a little bit, but it's been over an hour. And yeah, look, this is when they showed Harry. This is when they, oh no, this is when he was a young boy and he went over to Africa. He used to go over there every year. And, you know, yeah, I think we've got a lot more to talk about. Oh, King Charles, isn't it? Yes, King Charles. Do you know what? I think, and this is just my own opinion, I think he was the one that came up with that. I wonder what colour your child's going to be. What's going to happen? Like, well, what does that mean? Your child's going to come out with a tan? Yeah, that's what I think. I think he's a piece of garbage. And I can't call him King Charles. I won't call him King Charles. He's a creep. Don't like him. That's the end of that. Okay, I'm going to love and leave you. I get rid of this to begin with. I'm going to love you and leave you. And thank you so much for being here and having a little bit of a chat. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I just ramble on, like, you know. But I wish you a good week ahead. We've got snow. We've got inches of snow. God, my son's meant to be taking his girlfriend into London tomorrow for her birthday. I think they may have to put that on hold. I can't see that happening in this snow. I'm just going to stay in. And thank you so much for chatting as well. I really appreciate you. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye bye for now.